Attorney for former President Trump. Alina, good to have you with us. First, your reaction to the Attorney General there.
I'm glad you asked, Martha. Nobody is above the law. I would just like these left-winging DAs and AGs to show us that. Show us that. I'm inviting you to show me that no one is above the law while we have Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and all of his friends up in D.C. in the deep state that have not been touched. Show me no one is above the law, Martha, because I'm not seeing that. Do you know what I'm seeing in court in these cases is that everyone is above the law if they're friends with Miss James, if they're friends with D.A. Bragg, and if they're friends with Fannie Willis and Jack Smith. The only person that is not, the only person who did nothing wrong but will still get persecuted and prosecuted is President Trump because they can't beat him in November. So I want to use their words against them and invite them to show me how no one is actually above the law, because there are people that we know have broken laws, and we have not seen the system of justice be used the same for them as they are for President Trump. President Trump did nothing wrong. He's being persecuted. Show me the people that did real crime get persecuted and prosecuted. I want to see that.
Some of those people are back on the street in about 5 hours, and a lot of New Yorkers would like to see those people who are not rich or powerful, but who have some power in this city in terms of how safe people feel or don't feel. Let me ask you this. In terms of the 30-day deadline from Judge Engoron to pay this extraordinary fine that Jonathan Turley calls obscene, is that the case? Does he really have 30 days to pay this fine? And if so, there are some reports that he will sell off almost all, if not all, of his New York assets. What can you tell us about that?
No, I mean, I would never get into anything privileged, but I can tell you what the rules are. And within 30 days, even if we choose to appeal this, which we will, we have to post the bond, which is the full amount and some, and we will be prepared to do that.
So, but how much is the bond?
Well, you have to break it up. So there were obviously individual defendants that got fined. There was the company that got fined. But you're looking at roughly, let's call it close to $400 million for something that he did nothing wrong. Look, it's no coincidence, and I'll say it. They know by looking at his statements of financial condition that this guy is worth a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars. And that didn't even include his brand, Martha. But what they're trying to do between this case, between my last case, is put him out of business. It's not going to work, number one. Number two, what they're doing is a scare tactic. Unfortunately, they picked the wrong guy to pick on, in my opinion, because he's strong, he's resilient, and he happens to have a lot of cash. Now, that doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean it's okay. It's grotesquely insane. I was speaking to somebody today that actually mentioned that there are countries that literally make that in a given year in certain industries, countries in this world, but they would find somebody for what they call understating their statement of financial condition and making Deutsche Bank and Zurich, who, by the way, they still work with, money. But they're going to find him that kind of thing. It's absolutely insane. No, there will be no mayhem for the Trump organization, unfortunately. I know that probably was Miss James's goal and Judge Engoron, but that is not going to be the case.
Well, as I said, Jonathan Turley called it obscene. Other people have said that it's a dangerous verdict in the precedent that it sets, and what kind of damage it could do to New York City when other companies will want nothing to do with that kind of politics and judgment. So we'll see where it goes. Alina, thank you very much. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
Alina Habba,
good to see you.
Joining us this afternoon. And
hands up, I have tried and failed. I'm serious. I failed. F-A-I-L. I have tried my best to, I don't know, understand what it is that Fox are attempting to do.
In North Korea, Russia, China, the rule of law is perverted and it's weaponized against inconvenient forces. Everyone knows the game. Security forces, government lawyers, judges, they're not independent. They're all political hatchet men for the Communist Party. And since 2015, when Trump announced his run for the presidency, official forces in Washington have been unleashed on him.
Have a debate. Let's have a debate in Eagle Pass, Texas, and solve for the American people the one thing we all can see with our own eyes. The left want an open, insecure border. The conservatives and common sense independents We want a secure America, which means you have to control your back door, and then let's move it. Yeah, so I'll say without any question, so sometimes you wake up on Monday morning and you realize that the race is already gone. The best thing you can do is within 24 hours is to get out the way. I hope that happens. Listen, Nikki Haley has run the best race she could run. And lately, her campaign has been descending, honestly. It's desperation that you feel coming from her camp. And when you feel that type of desperation, that means the race is already over. And the leading person, Nikki Haley herself, has to come to realization. She has to realize that this race is over. It is best for the country, not just a party. It is best for America that we focus on Joe Biden.
Speaking out the way he did about Navalny shows you that he is a person without values. He looks like he's going to be a person without dollars either, but the values are what concern us. So then his pal in the United States, Donald Trump, and you wonder, what does Putin have on Donald Trump that he always has to be beholden to him, his buddy in vileness. And if I don't know if you're going to show the American people the statement that he made, but it's beneath the dignity of a human being. It is so horrible. You think, no, somebody must have made this up. Not even Donald Trump could go this far. As I've said, he's in a limbo competition with himself. How far can he go? Well, now he's gone below sea level, below ground level. And this statement should disqualify him from running for anything, much less president of the United States.
I mean,
understand how they manipulate facts and truth. Understand how, as far as they're concerned, the news is never news unless it's somewhere that they can spin and turn it around to tell the world that Trump is brilliant. Trump never does anything untoward and Biden is bad. In a nutshell. They have a show called The Five with Jessica Turner. Now, for me, Jessica is the voice of facts, the voice of reason, and at least attempts to try and tell something which you could recognise as being truthful, but they shout her down. And I've just realised the job of a Fox Entertainment individual is not to share any facts, share any news, share any truth. It is to be a laundry, to wash. That is what they do. They wash the Trump BS. They wash the nut jobs BS. Spin it, pummel it, do whatever. To those who are watching Fox, it all comes out smelling just, what a perfect world. Somebody's trying to tell the truth. Shout all over them, talk all over them, spin it, spin it, spin it. So we are now officially going to launch the Fox washing machine heads. That's how, for the time being, we'll be covering certain people on Trump TV, the laundry. And I suppose you can sell the Trump washing machines if he likes.
How do you think the business community is actually looking at it? She says it's no big deal, but Kevin O'Leary says it's an atrocity.
I'm not sure. I think we'll have to see how it plays out on the appeals court. And that's what everyone is waiting for to see, right? Because the state will have to prove exactly who was the victim in all of this. And I'm assume they've thought about this long enough that they have a good answer for that. But basically, everyone who is defending Donald Trump in this, from Kevin O'Leary to some folks here, is saying it is okay to falsify your business records, to issue false financial statements, to commit conspiracy for insurance fraud. When he goes out there,
where's the fraud?
The fraud is, and David Brooks lays this out really nicely. He was on a weekend show. He says you can't have 3 sets of books. You can't have the books for the bankers, so that's Deutsche Bank, who, is happy with all this. Then you have your IRS books, and we know that you're supposed to tell the IRS the truth. And then you have a set of books with the real numbers, I guess, which is what Alan Weisselberg had.
But
Donald Trump continually.
There were 3 sets of books. Where do you get that from? Where do you get that from?
That's part of what Judge had said that he present. Oh, because he's a lunatic, it means it didn't exist.
Yeah, this is
Donald
a judge
Trump,
who decides cases based on emotion.
Okay. I think emotion is hot at the table, and it is not emanating from me. So, since Donald Trump ran the first time, he has been making this argument: if they could do this to me, they could do this to you. The average person is not inflating their wealth by $800 million to $2.2 billion. They're not sexually assaulting women. They're not storing classified documents in the toilet. They're not fomenting an insurrection. Mar-a-Lago, you remember the documents?
Let's focus on this case. We can do
No, but it worries about Donald Trump. You always do that.
No, Jessica, you're doing a laundry list.
Really? You
You're
just
doing
said
a
Judge
laundry
Edgar on
list
this too.
when we're focused on one topic. We're focused on one topic.
Okay.
And yes, it does matter.
Falsifying your business records. Do you do that?
No, I'll tell you what I do, because I'm glad you asked. When you're in a contract negotiation with a company, let's say your contract is up and your company says, we want to renew your contract, and they don't give you a bump in the raise. That's the beginning. And then you come back and you go, you know what? I'm going to ask for the frickin' moon, which I always do. And I know I'm not going to get, but I also know at the end of the day, they're going to see everything. I can say, I want $100 million over the next 6 months. They're going to laugh. But that doesn't mean I broke the law. It means this is what you put down in a negotiation. And as the judge said, it's all transparent. They actually see it. There is no fraud here, which is why you're bringing up other stuff.
No, it's not. I started with that, and then I said, actually, it's a pattern. Well,
I gotta get Jesse in. Let's just give you the final word.
I was going to say, you obviously, with respect, Jessica, know nothing about real estate valuations, real estate development, or the IRS, or getting loans from big banks to develop skylines in New York City. Donald Trump did more for New York City than 1,000 Letitia James has done.